I just like to support, fighters in his own right.
I feel like Errol, even though, we haven't seen him in, 3 years now, I think he still has more than enough to beat Tim.
I told him to his face.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But it's cool.
Terence Crawford is now warning Tim Tszyu ahead of the Errol Spence fight, and his message sounds simple but carries deep meaning. This is not the same Spence people think they already figured out after one fight. After Crawford beat Spence, a lot of fans started looking at Errol differently, questioning his abilities in future in the sport. Some people think he is damaged, faded, or not the same fighter anymore, but Crawford knows better than most how dangerous Spence can still be when he is focused and motivated.
Steady movements and fluid movements, that's what he's giving you. Like, he's not in an actual fight. It's like, I can tell immediately who's been around the sport as opposed to...
That is why this warning to Tszyu feels serious. Bud is basically reminding everyone that Spence is not an easy name to dismiss. And if Tim walks in thinking this is a weakened version of Errol, he could be making a huge mistake. Tszyu is tough, aggressive, and confident, but Spence brings experience, pressure, bodywork, and championship-level toughness. And when a fighter like Crawford says you need to be careful, people listen because Bud has already been in there with Spence, studied him closely, and knows exactly what kind of danger Tim could be walking into.
And this is what I don't understand why people take it so hurtful. When we in like England and places like that, or overseas, like they tell you, and it's okay, like, hey, you're a great fighter, but I think he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Afterwards, it's all cool. It's just a opinion that they have on one fight. It's cool.
And then we see Errol Spence back in training, and that changes the whole feeling around this fight. Spence is not moving like a fighter who is coming back just to survive or collect a paycheck. He is working like someone who wants to remind people who he was before the Crawford loss. The pressure, the body shots, the conditioning, and the forward movement are all part of what made him so dangerous for years at the elite level. So when fans see him training again, it adds a different kind of pressure on Tim Tszyu, because this is the version of Spence that Tszyu has to prepare for. Not the name people keep disrespecting after one bad night, but the former champion who can still break fighters down if he gets into rhythm. And if Spence comes in focused, hungry, and physically sharp, then Tszyu is not walking into an easy comeback story, he is walking into a real fight. Boxing Ego reacted to Errol Spence's comeback, and he looked at it like a real test of what Spence still has left in the tank. The point is that Spence still has a name, still has experience, and if he comes back healthy and focused, he can still be dangerous. The question is not whether Spence was great before, the question is whether his body, timing, and hunger are still there now. That is what makes a fight with Tim Tszyu interesting. Tszyu is younger, active, strong, and confident. He will not come in fear of Spence's name. But Errol brings pressure, bodywork, toughness, and the kind of championship experience that can test Tszyu in a way he may not expect. And then we see Errol Spence training with Ronnie Shields, and that makes the comeback feel even more serious and structured. This is not just Spence hitting pads for the camera. Working with Ronnie Shields shows that he is trying to rebuild with structure, discipline, and experience around him. Ronnie has been around elite fighters for years, so the focus is not only on power or looking sharp in short clips. It is about timing, balance, defense, conditioning, and getting Spence back to the habits that made him dangerous in the first place. Even Andre Ward has a lot of respect for Errol Spence, which tells you this comeback cannot just be dismissed as a lost cause. Ward understands what Spence brought to boxing before the Crawford loss. The pressure, the discipline, the body work, the strength, and the way he used to break fighters down round after round made him one of the most respected champions in the sport. So when someone like Andre Ward speaks highly of Spence, it is not just because of his name. It is because Ward knows how hard it is to fight that kind of style at the elite level.
My knowledge, I heard Errol Spence doesn't drink anymore, which is also a plus. He settled that down, and it looks like the weight melted off him. He looks very lean, very focused, as he should be, because really it's a crossroads fight for him and Tim Tszyu. Tim Tszyu has taken some losses, been stopped by Fundora, by Murtazaev. So this is kind of must-win territory for both fighters.
And then we see Tim Tszyu training with Jeff Fenech and his team ahead of the Errol Spence fight, and that makes the matchup feel even more serious and competitive. This is not just Tim going through normal camp work. Training with someone like Jeff Fenech brings a different kind of energy because Fenech understands pressure, toughness, and championship-level preparation. That matters against Spence because Errol is not a fighter you beat by only looking sharp for a few rounds. You have to be ready for body shots, forward pressure, and a pace that can slowly drain you if you are not prepared.
And you look, he got a little bit of sweat, a little bit of sheen to him. Working with Ronnie Shields, legendary trainer. His back looking brolic. Got some snap to the punches. Yeah, we working. I love it. I love what I'm seeing. Look, in shape. This look like old school Errol, I'm telling you. It look, I mean, obviously he's older, right? He's no longer in his 20s, but I mean, look at it. Look at his back. So
when Tszyu was working with Fenech and his team, it shows that he is preparing for the hard version of Spence, not the version people are writing off after the Crawford loss, but the former champion who still has pride, experience, and something to prove. That is what makes this camp important. Tszyu knows if he beats Spence, it is not just another win. It becomes a statement that he is ready to take over the division.
Errol Spence is a boxing brother to me. He's somebody that I have a lot of respect for, his fight game, how he approached the fights, and just how he's carried himself. And again, he's made mistakes and he's open about that. But, you know, we've been talking for 3 years, off and on, checking on him, you know, he reaching out to me, the whole nine. And so there's a comfortability there, and there's also a respect level there. So when we sit down a lot of times on the Art of War, man, went back home and got into his family and became a better family man and spent more time with his kids, allowed his body to heal, his mind to heal, and he started making some tough decisions about, do I want to come back or not come back? You don't wait 3 years to start making excuses, right? And I'm seeing these YouTubers now, right? And I don't know what to call y'all. I don't know what to call y'all. Y'all not media. To me, y'all are, and not all of y'all, because there's some guys that are YouTubers that are building a platform, Roy, and they trying to just, you know, get some motion and just build what they do, and they doing a great job. And I don't have no names off the top of my head, but I've seen guys.
Jeff Fenech spoke about training Tim Tszyu for the Errol Spence fight, and his message was not soft at all. Jeff made it clear that a lot needs to change if Tim wants to beat Spence, emphasizing that improvement is necessary. That kind of comment tells you he is not just coming into camp to hype Tszyu up or say the usual trainer lines, he is looking at the details. The defense, the footwork, the discipline, the timing, and the way Tim handles pressure all have to be sharper because Spence is not the kind of opponent you can fight with bad habits. That is what makes Fenech's role important. He knows Tim has toughness, power, and confidence, but against Errol, that alone is not enough. Spence can work the body, close distance, and slowly drag a fighter into his kind of fight. So, Fennec is basically saying Tim has to clean things up now before those mistakes become dangerous on fight night. Jeff knows people are judging Spence off the Crawford loss, but that can be dangerous. Errol still has championship experience, strong fundamentals, body punching, pressure, and the kind of toughness that made him one of the best fighters in boxing for years. So, Fennec's point is simple: if Tim goes in thinking Spence is damaged or easy now, that is how mistakes happen.
There's a lot that needs to change, but you can't change a lot in a couple of months. So I'm just trying to change a few of the little important things I think that need to be changed. It's going to make him better on the day, and give him less opportunity to.
That is why Jeff is pushing for changes in camp. He understands that beating Spence means being disciplined every round. Tim cannot just rely on toughness or power, he has to be sharp, responsible defensively, and ready for the pressure Spence can still bring.
I didn't get touched. And it ended nice and early.
Errol Spence called you disrespectful on a podcast this week. Do you have any response to those comments?
Nah, that's alright. He talks it up and whatever. It is what it is. I'm not getting into that talk shit type of smack anymore, you know. It's I'm just here to cause pain.
Shakur Stevens said this week that he hopes Spence beats you up. What do you make of those comments as well?
It's another one, another hater. What can you say? I actually like Shakur Stevenson, but I do rate Tank Davis better. So.
Shane Mosley gave his take on Tim Tszyu and Errol Spence, and his view makes the fight feel like a real test for both men. He knows what Spence brings when he is right. Errol is strong, physical, and dangerous when he gets into his rhythm. He can press forward, attack the body, and make a fighter work every second of the round. So Mosley is not looking at Spence like someone Tim can just walk through because of the Crawford loss. But he also understands why Tszyu is dangerous.
When you fought Terence Crawford, you was falling down, you couldn't really take the shots after the car thing, you know what I'm saying? How well, like, are you damaging your body? I don't know, we will see when he fights. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean, people are excited for it, but in the same time, a lot of people say that Errol Spence is in a different league than a Tim Tszyu, but Tim Tszyu, I mean...
Tim Tszyu can fight. Tim Tszyu's in a good league, too. He ain't in a bad league. Tim Tszyu can fight.
There you go.
But I think that what they're trying to do is if they can beat Tim Tszyu, they're going to go after... what's the tall kid's name?
Tim is younger, active, confident, and he comes forward with real belief in his power. He does not fight scared, and that can make things uncomfortable for a fighter coming back from a major loss. So his point is simple: if Spence is healthy and sharp, this is a very hard fight for Tim. But if Errol is not the same, Tszyu has the pressure and hunger to expose it fast.
In Australia, we got the return of Errol Spence going to be fighting Tim Tszyu. I mean, what do you think about that? You know, his comeback.
Man, is he all the way ready? I mean,
looking good, strong. He's working with Rodney Shields right now.
Okay, but is he really? He's strong hitting the bag and stuff. But what about receiving?
The receipts, yeah, I don't know.
What about the receipts? How's his body gonna take the receipts? And we see how good look getting hit. I mean, hitting. What about getting hit back?
Yeah, this ain't a body.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Some people really believe in Spence in this fight. I mean, actually, Robert Garcia is kind of insinuating similar things that you're saying. You know, is he really the...
Mikey Garcia gave his view on Tim Tszyu versus Errol Spence, and his opinion carries weight because he has already shared the ring with Spence. He knows how difficult Errol can be when he is locked in. He has felt the pressure, the body work, the strength, and the way Spence keeps forcing a fighter to work even when they want space. That is why Mikey would not look at this fight like Tim Tszyu is facing an easy version of Errol just because Spence lost to Crawford. But Mikey also understands that timing matters. Spence is coming back with questions around him while Tszyu is hungry, active, and trying to prove he belongs with the biggest names.
Spence hasn't fought in what, like 2 years?
Since the Crawford fight, yeah.
3 years, maybe 2 years. That's a good fight for him to come back because Tim Tszyu is also not at his like prime anymore. He's been hurt, he's been knocked out. So that's actually a pretty good matchup for a return. It's also a good matchup for Tim. If he beats Errol Spence,
big name,
he gets another shot at something bigger. So that's a good matchup for both actually. But he's going to Australia, so that's a little iffy there.
No, plus when you travel that far, it takes a long time to adjust to the weather, the food, the time. Yeah,
it could be a little tricky, but matchup-wise,
that makes the fight dangerous for both sides. So, his point would be simple: if Spence is still physically sharp, his experience and pressure can give Tim a lot of problems. But if he is not the same fighter anymore, Tszyu has the youth, power, and confidence to make that comeback very uncomfortable.
A good fight. It ain't a tune-up, but it's, you know what I'm saying? It's a good little fight for him. Man been out 3 years. Tim Tszyu been active. Former world champion. He ain't going to get nobody we don't know. I can't take nothing. I can't do nothing but salute him, take my hat off for him, and see how he go to work. I think he going to be fine. He looked like he's in good shape. He ain't look all out of shape. He looked like, he looked good. He looked mentally all there. And, I mean, shit, them little 3 years, like I said, I told him as soon as it happened, I said, okay, he had other stuff going on, other stuff going on. That was a 5-year accumulation, a lot of stuff he did going through the rigmaroles with Bud, trying to figure out if they was going to fight and building up his reputation.
Bernie the boxer knows Errol Spence is still a respected champion with real experience, pressure, and body work that cannot be ignored. Even after the Crawford loss, you cannot just act like Spence forgot how to fight. If he comes back healthy and focused with Ronnie Shields, he can still make the fight rough and uncomfortable. But Bernie also understands why Tim Tszyu is dangerous right now. Tim is active, hungry, and training like he knows beating Spence would change everything for him. With Jeff Fennick pushing changes in camp, it shows Tszyu is not taking Errol lightly. So Bernie's point is simple: if Spence still has the old timing and strength, Tim is in for a hard night. But if that Crawford loss took something out of him, Tszyu is the kind of fighter who can expose it fast.
It's like a viral clip of him, Tim Tszyu trying to shake his hand, and he's like, nah, I'm not shaking your hand, I've been hearing you talking shit, talking about you're gonna retire me and all that. Did you see the clip?
No, I didn't see that. When they was in the hallway?
Yeah.
Don't pull it up, Neil. It's good. They was in the hallway?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what Tim Tszyu supposed to say. So I don't understand why everybody getting upset by stuff they supposed to say. That's what you're supposed to say. You're my, but it's still, we still, you my peer. You still a fellow fighter. So I wouldn't take none of that stuff so seriously like that. Who give a fuck? He said he gonna retire me. Okay, we're gonna see when I beat his ass. Who cares? He said he gonna, all right, I'm gonna end him. He already been almost ended. I'm gonna put him out for real. That's Errol Spence, right back. Okay, he said I'm gonna tell. Let's see. And he thought Backroom beat his ass. Wait till I beat his ass. You just hit him back. All that. But whatever it is, I don't really get into none of that stuff. I don't even care. I think they too sensitive, for real.
What do you think about the fight being at a catch weight of 158?
Oh, it ain't gonna be at 54? Oh. Like I say, it's just the kid just coming to get his feet wet. He going back into the ring. That's it. So it don't matter. He really was a middleweight anyway. So 58, that's middleweight. It's not junior middleweight. The limit is 54. So it's a good fight. Tszyu, I'm sure he had to lose a lot of weight to make weight too. So good little fight. Can't wait to see the fight. Errol Spence carrying the torch. Everybody want to see what he gonna do. Most anticipation in a long time. So I just want to see the fight. So I'm wishing the best. It don't really move me whether he.
And that is what makes Errol Spence's comeback so dangerous and intriguing. He is not returning against a soft opponent just to look good and rebuild confidence. He is coming back against Tim Tszyu, a strong, active, confident fighter who will try to test him from the opening bell. Tszyu is not going to respect Spence just because of his past. He is going to press forward, make him work, and see if the Crawford loss really took something away from him. But Bernie the boxer's point is that people should not be so quick to treat Spence like he is finished. If Errol is healthy, focused, and comfortable with Ronnie Shields, fans may be surprised by how much he still is left. The body work, the pressure, the strength, the discipline, and the experience do not just disappear overnight. One bad night against a special fighter like Terence Crawford does not erase years of elite work. That is why this fight matters so much. Spence is not just fighting Tim Tszyu, he is fighting the idea that his best days are gone. Every round will answer a different question. Can he still take pressure? Can he still push a hard pace? Can he still break a fighter down to the body? Can he still look like the Errol Spence people respected before everything changed?